new era dawns to fill the void. An unfamiliar path with a pulse of its own.
3, 2, 1.
Final Encounter Cast. Interesting conflicts, not conflicts of interest.
Typical corporate bullshit.
With your hosts, Nate, Robbie, Chris, Nika, and Callie. FinalEncounterCast.com.
Ready? Get set? Go!
Hey, what's up? Welcome to Final Encounter Cast. Thanks for joining us, twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Getting a little bit of a late start here. But welcome, everyone. Appreciate having you along. You can join us if you're listening on the podcast at 1 o'clock, although next week will be the Final Encounter Cast.
Dun dun dun!
Episode 100.
Dun dun dun!
Means that Final Encounter Cast is done. Yes, you are right. Congratulations.
Made it to 100.
We did. We made it to 100. And then this
Impressive.
show will become the Let's Be Real podcast. And let me tell you, I'm pretty excited about the Let's Be Real podcast. Because I think it's going to be awesome. Although, I do have to say, Zemless, where you been, buddy? We need to have this site in working order in about a week. And
yeah.
Where'd it go?
I haven't heard from Zemless in a while.
I know.
Anything weird going on up in Canada?
I mean,
I hear their prime minister is really cool.
Maybe they're having like a shortage of
A giant party up there.
what's that place I like to go to with the donuts? Tim Hortons. They have a Tim Hortons shortage, maybe.
What?
sort of letting you
Wallow in that awful.
flail in that joke there. Anyway, welcome to the show. Appreciate having you along. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio at 1 p.m. By the way, the Let's Be Real podcast will also be on Sundays at 1 p.m. It'll just take the slot of this show.
Maternic says, I still don't know how the new podcast will be different, ...
Neither do we. Yeah.
We're going to work that out.
Yeah.
It's like
eventually.
Marvel's all
Totally
new,
different.
all different. It's more of the same crap.
Yeah. Speaking of Marvel, we're actually going to be talking about Marvel today on the show.
Weehoo! We're going to be doing some
Wow,
tinfoil hatting.
Boy, Robbie, that was a really muted response from the Marvel fan in the room, I got to say.
Yeah, you're bad.
Yeah.
I didn't want to blow out the channel, so held myself back a little bit.
You're not going to blow... That's my shit to worry about, not yours.
But then when I blow it out, I get yelled at like Juxta did.
Yeah, well, if you're going to blow something, make sure you face away from the big black dick in front of your face.
Do you guys not know how microphones work?
I do. You taught me how to do it.
You taught him last week.
You taught him how to do the giant black dick thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just checking. I mean, it just seems like maybe you need a little bit of help.
With microphones?
Yeah.
You just talk into it, and then the
sound goes to the computer and
Yeah,
stuff.
the sound particles go through the cord, and we need good cords so they get
Sound
sprayed
particles?
through all the way into
Spray through... What?
Well, it's like pressure. Like you need lots
no.
of pressure to get through all the way up there and then go
actually
down.
not. It's very
why
much
we need,
not.
Yeah, it
No.
is. That's why we need a good microphone. Because you're not going to get enough sound pressure to get through all the way into there. And then in there's like gears and cogs. That's why I'm not an audiomancer, trust me.
That is the worst description of what I do for a living that I've ever heard.
I don't know. I think that was pretty accurate.
No, it's
No.
not accurate at all
But,
in the
but
least.
it's fun. But it was a fun
I
description.
mean, well, okay, fun, maybe, but not accurate.
Made your job sound more fun.
Oh, we're
No.
already getting mute Chris's in the chat.
What? Why?
Cut off his sound pressure, please.
No. Keep
Don't
that.
let his particles go through the mic anymore.
Sound pressure has been released. I like the idea. I like the idea of if we had to get up and mute someone, having to like,
Go crank.
Okay, well, I've been spending like the last 3 months pushing up and down on the water.
What are you? What?
Valve over there.
I can't hear anything you're saying. Though.
That's because he's muted. Thank you.
But usually when he's muted, I can hear him through you guys. I mean, I could barely hear him. At
You're
all.
just saying random things now, Chris.
No, like back back on the farm in the country, if you want water out of the well, you gotta, use the spigot, right? So
The spigot. The spigot. I feel like I should turn your microphone back on so that everyone can hear this. Fucking idiocy.
On the country, in the well, under the water, you have to push up and down with the spigot to get the water to come out.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
What country?
It's the water pump. That's not a spigot.
The water comes out of the spigot.
But you don't pump it.
Well, maybe you don't, but when I was growing up, you had to do that.
God damn.
Back in the day, huh?
How dumb are you?
Not very.
Look,
I don't know a lot of things, but the things I do know, I know really, really well, okay?
Which
Which includes spigots and wells and basements which
I
have
actually
no
would say
finishing
that
and
you
they're all
don't.
dirt.
I would say that you actually don't know spigots.
Replace the S with a B, and you might be a little bit closer to what he understands.
Oh.
Spigot.
Oh.
Yeah, because I lived with you for a year, Robbie.
Anyway,
Oh, man. Ouch.
welcome to the show, guys. Appreciate having you along.
We promise next week it's going to be way better.
Do we?
Do we?
Why? Why would we promise that?
I don't know that I promised that. Yeah. I don't know. No. Anyway, welcome to the show. Appreciate having you along. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. So if you know what, I do want to kind of address a few things before the show starts here.
Chris is the InfoWars of FEC. Hashtag turn the frogs gay. Hashtag mute Chris.
Is that true? Are you the Alex Jones of FEC?
Is he really super cool and popular?
Let's go with that. Yeah,
Then
sure.
yes, I am definitely the Alex Jones because I'm the most coolest and the most popularist.
Oh, my.
Oh, dear. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll just go with that. Anyway, welcome to the show. Appreciate having you guys along. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Before we start, again, a couple of things that I just wanted to get out of the way. If things sound a little bit funky on the show, it's because we have actually replaced the heart of the studio. We have made a couple.
Transplant.
We have made a couple of pretty crucial upgrades to the studio. Being the first being the computer that used to handle all of our calls and all of our drops has officially been retired.
Coop gets to enjoy retirement now, collecting dust in a closet somewhere?
No, actually, that's now my personal jacking machine in my bedroom.
Oh, okay. The computer has retired to become his personal
Put out to pasture.
jacking machine.
My personal jackputer. I don't know how Kuki's going to feel about that, but here's the thing. We got a brand new computer.
What's this one's name?
It doesn't have a name.
It's the arc reactor, since we're talking about MCU today. And it's pretty silent.
It does glow. I mean, we could make it glow blue.
All computers glow nowadays.
Yeah, but I mean, this one has a.
I got random box fans and those glow too. Everything glows.
But this one has a remote that you can like make it change the color. And
Oh my
where is
gosh.
it?
It's up in that little cubby up there.
And you didn't like immediately destroy it. You hate glowing things.
Yeah, I know. I turned it off. Let me put it that way. I immediately
I'll turn it back
turned
on.
off.
Don't worry.
No,
Where is
no,
it?
you don't need to. You don't need to find it. Stop looking for it. You're not going to find it.
I like the idea that he says that it's over there, but really it doesn't exist. So now Josh is just always going to be looking for it.
When you throw a ball for a dog, but
You don't actually throw it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh.
Anyway, so yeah, the new computer is in, which means that you've got new drop software, Juxta.
I do.
Yeah,
There's a lot of words on it.
I know. There's a couple of kinks that we've got to work out in the
All
systems.
these drops are from unknown artists.
I know. I was looking for a way to try to resolve that yesterday, and outside of going through and hand editing the tags for over 1,500 drops.
Well, yeah, but I only got 48 on here, so
Yeah.
really you don't have to do 48 drops.
No, but I mean, like, if you ever wanted to add another drop page or anything else, which you're going to be able to do now, then it's far more than just 48.
How come you haven't hit a drop for us yet? Are you scared?
Yeah,
A little bit.
Is it intimidating?
It is.
Drop us. Come on.
Come on, Drop Master Juxta.
Go touch his dick.
There you go.
All right.
All right. Was that so hard?
It worked.
I mean, I am.
It's not what he asked
That's
at all.
not the question.
Is it all right with you if I touch your penis?
No, it's not. That's not all right.
At least he's asking permission, I guess.
Hashtag me too.
Well, hashtag ask in public, hashtag but do what you want in private. Hashtag Hollywood.
No.
What?
What?
No.
What?
What?
What? Anyway, so basically what we've had to do to be able to put in this new computer is tear the entire studio apart.
It's super clean in here, I realized today.
Yeah, because I took the opportunity to clean out the studio.
My corner's still a pig hole.
Well,
sty.
That's
Pig
where we put the
sty.
pig.
Whole pig.
Yeah, it makes sense now, doesn't it?
Well, I thought you would clean that up too.
Why would we?
Because you cleaned the studio.
But you sit there, which means that in a matter of moments, it's just going to be filthy again.
Yeah, but for those few moments, I'd like it to be clean.
No.
For a change.
Why?
Why?
Were you going to keep it clean? No.
Yes?
No.
You're not.
Yes?
Show me otherwise. Why don't you clean it up and keep it clean?
Well, I mean, I would just take all this stuff and throw it in the garbage because it's not mine.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
All right, so that's how I'll
keep
clean it.
So keep it clean.
Okay.
Anyway.
Where's the jizz can?
Anyway, so if things sound yes, that is the actual jizz can.
Oh my God, it's a real thing.
What?
What do you think is in there?
There's definitely tissues in there.
Oh yeah.
man.
And there's definitely jizz in those tissues.
And there's definitely only tissues in there.
That's the thing. You just have a can specifically for the jizz tissues.
Well, yeah. Where else do you put them?
I mean, you don't want to get your garbage all jizzed up. I plan on eating that later.
What?
Okay, let's.
Whoa, that took a turn. What the fuck? Okay, all right. So anyway. Oh. Anyway, so the effect of this, the effect of having to displace so much in the studio, is that our
Is it news time yet?
no, fuck you. Fuck you. Is it news time
lick
yet?
my balls.
Get out of here. Anyway, the effect of this is that the microphones sound a little bit weird, and I've got to readjust all of the gain structure, and I don't know, something feels weird and off about my mic ever since Checkpoint Radio last week.
Well, it also it sounds, because the computer's not making noise anymore and this one's quieter. It sounds quieter, but like in a weird way. Like when I notice it, it sounds really awkward, but when we're just like in the thick of talking about stuff, I don't really notice it.
Yeah, no, I mean that's actually a big part of it, is that there is a way lower noise threshold that's going on in the room now, and so you've got to retune everything. But I mean, like right now, dude, I feel like my microphone sounds like balls.
No, I think you sound okay to me, but you have a finer ear than I do. So,
like, I'm hearing lots of distortion. But that's the thing, is that we're working on getting a replacement board, and now I think we have to get a new board.
Yeah, definitely. And when you do that, buy some headphones too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
I forgot I was.
I hate these headphones.
Okay. So if things sound a little bit weird, it's because I am
Kyle's a piece of shit.
I am adjusting things on the fly, and trying to get and also I think we're going to be getting a mic compressor here.
Fancy.
That'll also help.
We're gonna compress the mics. Won't
much
that damage
fanciness.
the pressure system inside the
gonna break 'em.
microphones?
No, what it's going to do is it's going to ensure that when you yell into the microphone that it's not going to blow out the channel on the board. That's what a compressor does.
Oh, it compresses the
audio.
It'll regulate your
the
sound pressure a little bit
molecules.
better.
Anyway, so yeah, if we sound a little bit weird, if we sound a little bit distorted, I do apologize. We're trying to work through some of those issues, but at the end of the day, it's going to make for a better product. It's going to help Checkpoint Radio sound a whole lot better. It's going to allow Let's Be Real to sound a whole lot better. It's going to, I'll have to waste less time trying to mute background noise in all of our audio. This is definitely going to be very helpful for us. So we do appreciate it, and of course, that's all possible with your support over at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. It's only possible with your support over at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. So we do want to invite those that maybe haven't stepped up their support for Limit Break Radio, Let's Be Real Network, Checkpoint Radio. If you're a fan of any of those, then head on over to patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. All right, let's check out what's going on in the news.
I'm here to do the news tonight.
And that's the way the news goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this program to bring you important news.
Here's a story that's out of this world.
An 11-year-old girl from Orlando went missing after communicating with a man posing as a young girl from Illinois on Minecraft. She was found and recovered in Georgia, and the man is now being held in custody.
Oh.
I actually remember seeing this headline the other day and feeling terrible. I'm so glad that it actually, it worked out in the end. But oh my God, that is frightening.
That is terrifying and awful all around. It's good that, she was found, but I mean, dude, Minecraft, is anyone else intensely skeeved out by, these, grown men who are doing YouTube channels for Minecraft? There was one that came across my autoplay and on YouTube, and I woke up to it, and the dude was, he was doing some sort of contest where he was asking for DMs on Instagram, and I automatically went, no, red flag went up. All kinds of red flags.
Yeah, that'd be lots of red flags there. Oh.
Yeah.
Especially because a majority of Minecraft's player base are definitely children.
Oh, absolutely. 110%.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially virtual Legos, so yeah, I would say so. That's just all kinds of creepy.
Yep.
Speaking of creepy, Sonic the Hedgehog will be hitting theaters next year. Paramount's live action and CGI mix will be debuting on November 15th.
I also learned that I'm secretly a furry.
Deadpool director Tim Miller is serving as an executive producer on the project, but I don't know, guys. I don't know.
This seems...
Sonic the Hedgehog...
I mean, is this trying to be the next Space Jam, or,
Has anything besides Space Jam and, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which, was further back, really ever hit the whole mark on, mixing any kind of animation or CGI with...
Cool World.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. There was another one. I feel like... But I can't think of it. I can't think off the top of my head. Is that what they're trying to do with the Sonic movie? Are they trying to do a combo of
live
animation?
action CGI? So Sonic will obviously be CGI, and everyone else, I guess, or if there's any other characters,
like the human
Tails,
characters,
Knuckles.
like Dr. Eggman, maybe will be a human.
Oh, you have to CGI Eggman.
See, it depends.
But I don't know, because most of the characters in Sonic are animals.
Here's the
how
thing.
do you real life mix that?
I think it depends on how they're presenting it. If Sonic just exists in our real life, like some explorers come across the island, that's kind of weird, right? But if they do the usual, somehow video
Portal
game
open.
characters sucked into our world.
No, that doesn't sound like a Sonic live action. If that's
Yeah,
the
keep
case.
in mind that the whole Sonic canon based on Sonic Adventure is Sonic exists in the world right next to normal human beings, so... I think we're just gonna have there's Sonic. He's a talking hedgehog, and that's just another race in
we
our
just
world.
accept that.
This is gonna be terrible.
This is gonna fucking suck.
This is gonna be terrible.
There's no way that this is good.
Okay,
Even with the director of Deadpool as a consultant or whatever the hell he's doing.
executive producing.
Executive. Oh, he's executive producer, but like Deadpool's good. So if he's the executive producer, that's
but Deadpool
promising.
isn't good just because of him.
True.
Right.
But that's still
no. This is gonna be terrible. Honestly,
why would you think that?
The
Nika?
only way that a movie like this would work.
That's completely unjustified optimism.
Yeah.
There's no reason to even be optimistic about this.
There's no reason for this movie to exist, so I feel like
In
it's
this
better to be
capacity.
optimistic about it.
No. You should be totally
Are you out of your
pessimistic about
fucking
it.
mind?
That way, if by
That's
some
just how I live.
miracle, it's even halfway decent, then you can be like, all right, it wasn't a steaming pile of shit.
All right, so Sonic movie, better or worse than Final Fantasy 15 movie?
Final Fantasy 15 movie wasn't actually that bad, though.
Yeah, it was meant to be a side along with the game. Like
it was animated through
and it was full
everything in the
CGI and it was
game.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I cannot see this movie being better than that.
Like that's just like an added bonus for someone who's a fan of 15. This is
Well, even if I see,
this is going to be an abomination and an affront to cinema everywhere.
And you just completely let that burn on Nika just fly you guys by.
No, because it was a bad burn.
It was a bad.
Yeah, that
burn.
was.
It could have been a great burn.
No,
not with that.
If the team was on board, then we could have captured that point.
Listen,
No.
I'm not. No. You're out there solo, my friend.
You guys were just Genji and Tracer off, harassing supports and not getting kills.
I'm fine with
on
that.
Nika.
I'm fine with that.
Because Nika's mercy.
You know what?
Because she's a girl.
You're playing like shit, bro. Hashtag
I don't even understand the Overwatch.
Hashtag
references,
Chris's
so.
XQC. A dev for Flight Simulator add-on had to apologize over the weekend for putting malware on possibly thousands of computers. The company FS Labs included a Chrome password dump tool in their installer. Now, they claim it's part of the program's DRM and will only take effect if the serial number used to activate the program has been flagged beforehand. Nevertheless, people were rightfully pissed.
Yeah. I wonder why.
Huh.
Look, if you want to play my
Are
game...
you fucking kidding me?
Then you have to let me farm your passwords.
It's there for your protection.
Well, our protection.
We're only going to use it if something bad happens.
Like what?
Like we run out of money.
That sounds a little bit more honest.
Or
yeah.
someone offers us lots of money to dump passwords.
I mean,
yeah, like when we run out of money.
Yeah.
I don't even think they need
I
necessarily.
guess we don't have to run out of money.
But you want to try and get ahead of stuff like that. Prevent it from happening.
Very smart on you guys. Good job.
That's right. That's right. Metal Gear Survive might have just set the bar for awful microtransactions. Let's say you decide you want to make a new character, but you don't want to delete your old one. So, yeah, if you want to have a second save file, something that you could have 3 of in Zelda for the NES, it will cost you $10.
Yeah. Well, but
so not cool.
But didn't we? I mean, this is exactly the kind of shit that we've been warning against for how long?
Basic shit. Like, all right. You know, throughout time, we've always had those memes where it would show the Mona Lisa and then cut off like the eyes and stuff and be like, "Oh, look at this DLC that you have to, buy," when it's really just part of the game. This is a feature that has been in gaming since at least the NES.
Okay, no. Now, in Konami's defense, if you want a second save file in Pokemon, that would cost you $40. So props to Konami for just reducing it down to $10.
How
you my boy, Blue.
Functionally, how do you have multiple saves in a Pokemon game? Functionally.
The same way that you would have multiple saves in something like Ocarina of Time. You just create another file and you just have 2 different files going.
Look at the size of the data storage. That's the point he's trying to make.
Well, no, not even that. I'm saying that the one of the gimmicks on Pokemon for the entirety of its existence has been that, like the trading mechanic and the friend building mechanic, like
the choices you have to make.
Like it just seems like
The reason you have multiple saves is because you're a parent with multiple children and you don't want to buy the game 5 times, so you buy it once and let them all share it on one account. That's
what? I can tell you right now, making your children share a single Game Boy, no way.
Well,
Nika.
I mean,
no way.
but we used to,
maybe,
but we do that with
maybe
like,
the
Nintendo
ignorant
games. Like,
parents.
we're talking about Zelda for the SNES or whatever. Like that's totally a thing that you would do. Is you would have one person play, and then when you log off, the other person plays.
But isn't it entirely different though when you're charging for the additional save slot, right? Like, doesn't that change the thing the conversation entirely?
I think it does, especially because when you look at Metal Gear Online in the past, you could have more characters than one, correct?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like if Metal Gear Survive is anything similar in terms of online play, how you want to play with other people and you want to make a different character, you should just be able to make
I think that's sort of the gimmick of Metal Gear Survive is that you have to play online and with other people. So I mean, it seems like previous to this, it was a design choice, one way or the other, to go, oh, okay, let's have either one save file and one character, one consistent character, or have multiple save files, right? Like, this is the first time that's been nickeled and dimed.
And what I don't understand is for what purpose are they doing it? I mean, your save data is going to be on your hardware, right?
Right.
So what exactly are you buying from them besides the right to play a game that you've already bought?
Exactly.
It does, dude. This is again. This is like that. This is like the most predatory DLC possible.
They're charging literally for convenience.
With this one, though, is it that you just make a new character and continue from where you were, or is it like a completely like you have to start over?
It's a character slot. It's literally a character slot. So if you want to play the story again and keep your old save file, that's what this is.
Right, but I mean, it's not like a way to just change your character and continue from where you already were.
No, it's not like a Fantasia.
It's
or
not like
a
custom. Yeah, Fantasia. Yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah,
different thing. Totally different thing.
So it's just like if you want, but you want to start over without deleting your character. That's basically it.
Yeah. The annual DICE Awards were given out, and Nintendo came up big winners this year. Breath of the Wild won Game of the Year, Adventure Game of the Year, Outstanding Achievement in Game Direction, and Outstanding Achievement in Game Design. Nintendo also took home awards for Racing Game of the Year, Handheld Game of the Year, Mobile Game of the Year, and Outstanding Achievement in Sound Design.
Damn.
Holy crap.
I mean,
that's a lot.
That is, and not undeserved.
Yeah, I can't say. I mean, really, who else is going to take Handheld Game of the Year? Come on, duh.
Yeah.
Racing game. I'm going to assume that was Mario Kart selling as it did, like like gangbusters.
Obviously,
right.
Mobile game. Okay, yeah, Mobile Game of the Year, sure.
Okay, yeah, I'll take it.
I can't even probably argue with any of that.
Yeah, there's I don't know, man. The thing is that the DICE Awards don't seem to be as even a quarter of visible as something like the Video Game Awards.
Yeah, I've never even heard of DICE Awards until now.
Heard of them.
I mean, we've reported on them in the past. We've reported on them in the past,
set of
but
awards,
yeah.
Riot looks to be taking note of the environment surrounding loot boxes and decided to make their percentages and probabilities public. In addition to revealing that players recently punished for bad in-game behavior cannot earn loot boxes or keys, they also gave the exact probabilities on items that can drop in their boxes. Holy crap, the coolest thing about this story is the fact that if your account is in bad standing, you actually can't even earn loot boxes.
Yeah.
I think I kind of like that.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
That's
love
actually
that
really
idea.
cool.
I love that idea. It's a brilliant idea.
Oh, man. Blizzard, that's something Blizzard needs to implement now.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there's going to be a reckoning on loot boxes here.
And, I as a consumer, I'm not really sure what the big deal is on not revealing what your probabilities are anyway, because as a player, if there's skins that I want, regardless of what the probability ends up being, I'm probably still going to buy those boxes.
Yeah.
A representative from Rhode Island has proposed a 10% tax levy on M-rated video games, which would be used to fund mental health programs in schools. It's worth noting that particular representative has a 93% approval rating with the NRA.
So we talked a little bit about this last week on FEC. We talked a little bit more about violence in video games and kind of reflecting on that. Post Parkland, on Checkpoint Radio. And, especially after, Donald Trump coming out and trying to scapegoat video games this past week. Here's one thing that I want to mention is that, we said on Checkpoint that, we want to be open to the discussion and not just point fingers. And even if it's someone that I don't particularly like that's saying it, I'm still going to stand by that, right? I still do think that there probably is an element of this that has to do with the violence portrayed in media, not just video games, but all media. And just because the dude that I don't like said it, that doesn't change my stance on that at all. And I feel I see a lot of people reflexively reacting to stuff like that. And I just want to caution people about getting too defensive when it comes to this conversation. Because if we start getting defensive, people whose hobbies, include gun ownership and wanting to shoot, they're going to get defensive. And so, if we want to have the discussion, we've got to have the discussion. And we can't just say, no, you're wrong because we disagree. There's got to be some kind of answer. And at the end of the day, we may not like it. Now, a plan like this that has a tax levy that goes specifically to mental health programs, kind of don't hate that.
When I first saw it too, no, you're right. I looked at it and I'm like, look, so look, you buy a game for $60, 10%, that's, $6, maybe $7 towards mental health in high schools or in schools. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And one of the things that we mentioned in our discussion was that we need to all start taking, instead of looking at other people's business and telling them what they need to do and what their problem is, let's take a look at our own backyards and decide how can we help. And something like this isn't going to hurt anything.
Yeah, and again, it's not a tax on all video games. It's a tax specifically on M-rated video games.
I think I'd happily pay that.
Yeah, I think it's kind of weird because I feel like they're like, oh, well, we should tax the violent ones because those are the ones that cause the shootings. But two things. One, we all know that's bullshit. And two is that, like, kids aren't supposed to be playing the M-rated ones anyway. That's why it's rated M. So it's just kind of weird that they're targeting M-rated games because to me that feels like he's trying to make a point by saying the violent ones are the cause.
Well, but I don't think... I think it's a little disingenuous to say that the problem is only in schools, too, because, just a few months ago, we had Vegas. So the problem isn't just schools. If we want to address the problem in schools, part of the thing is that M-rated video games they clearly don't just get purchased by people over 18.
Well, in regards to the violent portion of it too, you're right, Nika. Many studies have shown that video games won't turn you violent. But if it's already a tendency that you have,
right,
there are all types of
if you already have a
things
predisposition
that can trigger it.
It's not the cause of anything.
It's true.
I don't like this because a 10% tax on only M-rated games means that now developers are going to be more hesitant to make M-rated games.
That's very true.
Because
That's fair.
it's going to cost more to sell that game. And it also doesn't make sense that it would only be in Rhode Island because now people are either just going to buy the games online where there's no levy, which is going to diminish the point of the levy, or they're just gonna just buy them online and use a fake address and be like, oh no, I actually live in California.
That's a fair point.
So, yeah, it's also fair.
Yeah, no, and who was that? Jacques in the chat says, what about a tax to mental health on gun sales? I don't disagree with that either.
I think that would be great.
Yeah.
If you're gonna tax things for mental health, then you need to be open-minded about everything you should tax.
Right.
I agree.
If video game players are going to be open about taxing M-rated video games, then gun owners should be open about taxing guns.
Yeah, no, I agree. But that's why I'm saying don't reflexively shut conversations like this down. Mm-hmm. I think everything that you brought up, all very valid concerns, all 100%, and I'm with you on all of them. But if we just shut the conversation down and go, video games are never the problem, guns are only the problem, or mental health and guns are only the problem, but video games, don't touch my video games, that, to me, that's as much of a non-starter as the NRA going, well, okay, well, if it has anything to do with gun restrictions, we're gonna poo-poo it,
squash it.
And the thing is that the NRA is going to take a licking for that. Already, Delta and United Airlines have pulled their support for NRA.
There's a bank that also cut their ties with them as well.
Yeah, so NRA members are going to no longer be receiving discounts there. It's the thing, and I just want to try to walk the conversation to a reasonable place. Is from what I see from most gun control advocates at this point, is not to take away the guns or to take back the guns, but to make the sale and distribution of guns more difficult. And in the end, kind of like what you're saying, dissuade manufacturers from manufacturing such high volumes of either, highly deadly weapons or accessories, whatever it is. Whether we're talking about bump stocks or high capacity ammunition, higher capacity clips, things like that. There are ways to dissuade manufacturers from making them in such a quantity where they feel like then they have to put a significant effort into marketing these products as well, because now they've got a surplus to sell. These are all things that people don't really think about in this kind of debate. They go, oh, well, you just want to take my guns away. No, we want to have a discussion about the way that guns are made, marketed, and sold. And I think that that's a very valid conversation to have. So, again, I to go back and revisit the topic. Nika, you weren't here last week, and as a teacher, I'm curious, given the debate that has unfolded in this past week, where are you at on this issue?
If one more person tells me arming teachers is the solution, I think I'm going to punch someone in the face.
So you don't think that arming teachers is a good idea?
No, all it takes is one absent-minded slip-up to leave the gun in the classroom and a kid's got a hold of it. That's all it takes. Then how long is it before you see one teacher snap at a student and shoot someone? How long is it until
a student snaps and wrestles the gun away from the teacher?
Already
yeah.
There are sixth graders that are bigger than me.
Yeah.
It's scary, even in elementary school. It's so, they're like, oh, well, teachers can just concealed carry. I'm like, yeah, how often my little 5-year-olds are hugging around my waist? I cannot get them to stop. So all it takes is one kid to be like, oh, what's this? I can't fathom how that's a good idea. I mean, secondly, you've got a little pistol, some guys in the school with a semi-automatic rifle.
Right.
What are we going to do? Well, we still have the kids' lives at stake and at our best interest, regardless of if we have a pistol or a gun of any sort. The fact is there's no way that a teacher is going to be able to shoot calmly under pressure and stop, especially if the gunman is a child. I did not sign up to kill a child as a teacher, and I can't. This whole conversation is bullshit, and it's all stupid.
Okay, but what if we give you $3 an hour more to shoot a kid?
Okay, first of all,
to shoot a kid.
First of all, another thing
Jesus.
is where do they think this money is coming from? First of all, oh yeah, let's just arm every teacher and give them all the training that they need. Okay, sure. Why don't you give me pencils and paper first? So I could teach my classroom.
Okay, well,
they're not going to give
pencils
us
and paper
school
won't
supplies, but they're going to give us guns. Where is that budget coming from?
Probably from your pay.
I mean,
thirdly, what I think about is also liability. Let's say there is a shooter in the building and you see another adult with a gun and you think that's the shooter. You shoot them. It's not the shooter. Where does the liability lie there?
Yeah.
And also like people that come in, like the police, like people, I was seeing these debates going on Facebook, and the police are trained to come into a school and take down the people they see with weapons. If every adult in the building has a weapon and they're all aiming them at each other, thinking each other's the shooter, like what, where does it end?
It doesn't.
Like it's nothing about having guns in the school is a great idea. Like I understand the idea of an armed security guard, but like they're saying the armed security guard had a little pistol at Florida, and what was he going to do against someone? Like he was smart to not charge in there. And I don't see how anyone thinks this is actually a solution. And the next person who says it to me, I probably will snap on them and punch them because I can't take this conversation anymore.
Please record it.
So $4 an hour?
How much would it take for
you? Couldn't pay me. You could not pay me enough to carry a gun. You could offer me $1 million. I wouldn't do it.
Well, not to carry a gun, to shoot a kid.
Same thing.
Same thing?
I wouldn't do it.
Oh, you wouldn't do it.
Okay. All right.
I would not. You could not pay me enough to have guns in the school. It's a bad idea. Like something like you would hear way more about accidents happening, a child getting hold of it, a teacher snapping, and somebody getting shot by accident. Like it would happen way more than we have school shootings.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Probably bear attacks would go up too in schools.
What?
Bear attacks?
What? Wait, what?
What did you say?
Did you guys forget about that? What this? What's the Secretary of Education? That horrible person. She said that there should be guns in schools to protect from bear attacks. Back when she was being like interviewed.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my God.
You guys forgot that?
I actually never knew that.
I never heard that one.
Okay, in some more lighthearted news, and
Betsy DeVos. That's
there you go. And in a positive light, following dismal performance in their third quarter report, Angry Birds developer Rovio has seen half the value of its stock disappear. The company is now worth just over $500 million as investors grow more and more frustrated in their inability to replicate the success they had with Angry Birds.
Okay, all right. I am so fucking tired of brands doing this, where they come up with a stupid idea that is novel that people kind of gravitate towards for a hot second.
Angry Birds, Flappy Birds,
and
whatever.
then think,
Pokemon Go.
And then think that they're the next goddamn Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Pokemon Go doesn't count because Pokemon Go is part of Pokemon, and they are basically the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They were around longer than the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ever were. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
And if you could have saw how many people just in Flint alone were out on the streets playing Pokemon Go for this community day.
Oh yeah,
crap.
I went to my local park yesterday, and there were hundreds of people.
Between shit like Angry Birds and the Emoji Movie, and just like, how many more dumb shit can you try to market? Oh, kids like Angry Birds. No, they like playing bullshit on their phone.
Next movie, bullshit on your phone.
Emoji Movie.
Well, I mean,
that's pretty much it. Congratulations. This is Hollywood these days.
Yeah.
Fucking Christ, dude.
The success of PUBG and Fortnite have had to come at the expense of other games in the genre, and one of the victims was apparently H1Z1. The game's popularity has fallen by 90% since July, with only 9,500 people logging in daily now.
Womp womp.
Womp womp.
Ah, too bad.
I feel like I missed out on H1Z1. I
it's essentially the same thing, right?
I mean,
but with zombies?
I have no idea, to be honest with you. I don't know.
How do you battle royale with zombies?
Yeah, I think it's battle royale, but then there are just also zombies.
Is there 100 players?
I have no idea. Look, the fact of it is that PlayerUnknown actually got his start developing mods for H1Z1.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
we knew that.
So I don't know. I feel like you're really missing out. PUBG's probably a better product. That's why everybody is going to it. Now, if only Fortnite would die. Kingdom Come Deliverance has proven to be a pretty divisive game. Fortunately, it's difficult to ignore the numbers. The admittedly buggy Eastern European RPG has now moved over 1 million units. Fans rave that despite the bugs, the attention to detail and depth of the world make it well worth playing. Now,
I
Nate,
won't.
You've been looking at this, haven't you?
I won't play it.
No?
What is this?
No. This is it's sort of, it looks like Oblivion, but with slightly better graphics.
See, that's what I was about to say. Like, bugs shouldn't necessarily dissuade people from playing games. Bethesda games are notorious for bugs, but we still eat them up.
It has nothing to do with the bugs. It has everything to do with the guy being a pro Gamergate piece of shit.
Oh, the developer, I assume?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That just sold me on never buying it ever.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, all I had to do was go to his Twitter account and read a few of his tweets and go, oh, yeah, no, fuck this guy.
Because when this first came out, I know that there's a few like, hey, what do you guys think of the Kingdom Deliverance type thing, right? But yeah, fuck that.
I mean, I was curious after seeing seeing gameplay, but I mean, shit, dude, I'm not gonna openly support a fucking
I agree
douche nozzle like that. Fuck
that game. All right. Following his involvement in a virtual currency gambling scandal, James Phantom Lord, that's with a 0 instead of an O in Lord, Varga was banned from Twitch in 2016. He's now bringing a lawsuit against the platform, claiming damages and a breach of contract in regards to his Twitch partnership. Specifically, he claims he was not given proper notification and time to correct the behavior as per the terms of service. It fails to mention, however, that he was banned 5 days after Twitch clarified its rules, specifically saying that anyone who violated Valve's rules would be in breach of their terms of service.
Seems pretty cut and dry.
I can't believe like 2 years later, he decides, oh yeah, they did me wrong, guys.
Well, I mean, that could be
maybe he's been building the case, though, with a
building
lawyer
the lawsuit.
Doesn't sound like as much of a case, but...
No, I mean, you're right. It doesn't sound like he has much of a case because what he's saying is that Twitch should have reached out to him personally.
You broke the rules. No one has any need to where they should have to reach out and be like, hey, you broke the rules, so we need you to fix them, or we're going to punish you.
Well, not just that, but I mean, like, either he thinks himself so fucking self-important that he deserves a call from Twitch if they're going to change a rule like that, or he genuinely believes that they didn't give enough notice when they changed the rules, or they tried to change it on the sly, and that they just punished him out of hand. I don't know Twitch to do that kind of stuff, so I'm not sure that I totally buy that.
Yeah, no, I can't sympathize with him at all. So
nope, fuck that guy.
Yeah, and that's all for the gaming news this week. Nate, it's time for some MCU.
Yeah, so with the release of Black Panther and almost the end of Phase 3, we just got one more movie, guys.
Oh, it's coming.
The best one.
And
the stage is set.
It is. So, back on, I don't know, like episode 20 or something.
I think it was just following Civil War or just before Civil War.
It was just before Civil War.
That we had talked about it, because that's when you had started.
That's when I tapped out.
Yeah. Oh, that's when you tapped out?
That's when I tapped out, yeah, because I didn't go see Civil War. I actually saw Civil War for the first time like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, because I know beforehand, what was it that was hyping you up? Had you seen the Infinity War trailer at a Comic-Con maybe? Because something had gotten you excited because Infinity War was the only arc that you had read.
Oh yeah, I can tell. I can tell you what got me excited.
Okay,
tell us what you got.
Yeah. Chick I was into was really into the MCU.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we literally did a MCU show on FEC so that.
Vagina.
Thanks.
So that Nate could get up to date to impress a girl.
That's right.
All right. Did it work?
Yeah.
All right. Good job, buddy. Fist bump. No, you're just going to leave me hanging?
Yeah, I'm going to leave you hanging.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Come over here. I'll give you a fist bump.
No. You're garbage, and you had your hand in the jizz can.
I mean, have you not?
Anyway, let's talk MCU. Because Black Panther did just come out, and
did very well.
Yeah. Nika, did you see it?
I did.
Okay, all right. So everyone has seen Black Panther. No? Why not? Seriously?
I haven't seen it yet.
Seriously?
No.
What is wrong with you?
He has a child.
In his
I
defense,
have a child.
He was going to go watch it last night, but apparently they kept him.
Yeah, I was going to go see it last night because, yesterday, I'm like, hey, what's on the docket for FEC today? Oh, MCU. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I should go watch this new movie that came out.
Yeah, because you're going to have it spoiled for you today.
That's fine, whatever. And I was going to be like, all right, well, the last showing last night was 9:30, so given that I opened today and I started at noon, You would think I would be out by 9:30 to go watch it.
No,
I closed.
No, fuck
so
you.
I worked 10 hours.
Yeah, fuck you.
So no, didn't watch it.
So bit of a spoiler warning. If you haven't seen Black Panther yet, we're not going to start with Black Panther, but we're going to work our way up there. We are going to be talking about some plot points from Black Panther, as well as just some of our thoughts and feelings about the movie.
And honestly,
if you are trying to avoid spoilers for it, you may want to come back to this episode after you have seen Black Panther.
Well, and to be fair, one of the things I was telling Chris is I don't think there's really a whole lot in Black Panther that in the overall narrative arc was really going to spoil.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
No, but if
I
you
don't
don't want to
think
be spoiled for the experience of the movie itself.
Yeah, I mean, that might, yeah.
And now you just spoil it, you piece of shit.
Exactly. All right. So, where do we start? Civil War? Do we
Oh
want to
my
start with Civil War?
gosh, I don't know. That's a good question.
Well, we've talked about the MCU before. How far did we cover then?
Yeah, we covered up to Civil War because
that's where we start.
Because I think that's what was coming out.
All right, I feel like I need to bring up a timeline. Then what has happened since Civil War?
Well,
let me think. Since Civil War, because during Civil War, right before that, we had Spider-Man and Ant-Man and.
No, Ant-Man was just before Civil War.
Spider-Man was after.
Spider-Man was after.
I got us. We got Doctor Strange, Guardians 2, Spider-Man, Thor, Black Panther.
Right. So
not that many, but
no, it's not that many actually.
But that sounds about right. That seems about the pattern.
5 of them
leading up into an Avengers flick. Yeah. So. All right.
Civil War was basically an Avengers flick. Let's be real.
It was.
It really was.
And not really my favorite of the Marvel movies. What? Yeah, I was not that into it.
I liked it.
Here's why. It felt like a whole bunch of superheroes just getting into a boxing ring and playfully boxing with each other.
Right? That's why I loved it. It was just a whole bunch of superheroes getting into a boxing ring.
It just didn't feel like there were very many real stakes there. That's all. That's, I mean...
Oh, you know what? No, hold on. I get where he's coming from, because obviously they have opposing viewpoints, and the viewpoints were pretty severe, but we knew, as audiences, no one was actually going to kill anybody over them. I mean, Rhodey, was paralyzed from the waist down, and, technically at the end everyone got jailed but then broke out. I can see. I get it.
I think the stakes are pretty high between specifically Iron Man and Captain America. I feel like the two of them have something big going
right.
It just, but with everybody else, I didn't really feel much.
But even in their confrontation towards the end of the flick, I just sort of felt like they were pulling all of their punches. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, because they weren't trying to kill each other.
I get that.
I understand where you're coming from. I do.
Yeah, it was the DBZ tournament arc of Avengers.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right. But it was very cool the way that they had introduced Spider-Man. I liked the Spider-Man introduction. Tom Holland as Peter Parker. We'll get to Homecoming in just a second. But Tom Holland as Peter Parker is pretty fucking perfect.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, Civil War was okay. It sort of felt like... just in terms of progressing the plot, not much happened there.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I mean, but it set up the stage though for the fact that there is animosity and discourse, and that all the superheroes are not this big one happy league of friends. There is some differences in the fact that the way the world views superheroes and the way the superheroes view themselves.
Yeah, but it
did a good job to set the stage going forward, and I think that's kind of.
But that was always kind of reinforced through all of the Avengers movies, where you would see Stark and Cap kind of bristle at one another.
Yeah, and especially if you consider the origins too of the Civil War comic itself, there's no way that Civil War could have lived up to it, because that concludes with Cap straight up being murdered.
Yeah, I do think that punch is coming, but I do think that it's coming down the road.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, if you want to chime in on anything that you hear today, whether it's MCU, whatever it is, Final Encountercast on Skype, 810-207-1764. LimitBreakRadio.com/Discord to connect to our Discord.
I still remember my favorite part of Civil War, though, just because I feel like I didn't see it coming, because I felt like it would have been spoiled or leaked somewhere, and that was Ant-Man going Giant Man.
That was very cool.
I freaked out in my seat.
That was very cool.
It was silly though.
Yeah. No, but it was good though.
It was cool.
It was a good moment. It was a good moment.
Yeah.
I don't know. it did feel like Black Panther's inclusion in Civil War was an afterthought, especially up against the Black Panther film. You had the introduction of Wakanda as a place in Age of Ultron, and but it just, I don't know, like I didn't think that it was the best use of T'Challa or the Black Panther at all. Anyone else? No?
I mean, I feel like it served the purpose that it needed to serve, because this was, again, the Civil War movie about the Avengers going at each other, the Cap and the Iron Man stuff. It basically served exactly what it needed to. It showed us Black Panther and basically gave us his introduction. King T'Chaka died, which, as you said, directly set up the events that we see happen in Black Panther. Maybe he wasn't used to his full potential, but he was used in what the movie needed him for.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I thought that it got me really hyped for Black Panther. I was like, oh, this is a cool new character they just introduced. I'm excited for his movie.
Tell you what,
and I think that's kind of what.
Fair enough.
It's the first time that a character was introduced that way that I actually wanted to see more of that character. We saw Hawkeye briefly in the original Thor, big deal. Black Widow was there a little bit for like the Iron Man movies. Okay, cool. But this is the first time that after he left, I'm like, I need more T'Challa. Show me more Black Panther. And I actually, like with Tony Stark in the original Iron Man, actually enjoy seeing him, I think, more out of his suit than I do in his suit as Black Panther.
Interesting. Civil War, pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Then we got Doctor Strange, which is actually,
that one was good.
This is my favorite Marvel movie right now.
Period.
Ooh. Period.
That's my top 3.
I thought this one was different enough.
Yeah.
That it was intriguing.
Yeah.
And it did the superhero thing in a different way.
Here's what I'm starting to notice about the way that Marvel approaches doing their movies that I really respect, is that when they sit down to do a specific character, they ask what genre of film would fit them the best, right?
Yes.
With Cap, of course, you had the first Avenger, which was a period piece, and then you had Winter Soldier, and to a little bit of a lesser extent, Civil War. But Winter Soldier was straight up shot like a Bourne movie.
Political thriller.
Yeah, political thriller. I mean, like from end to end, and then Civil War was basically an Avengers flick. You're right. But like that's one of the things that I really appreciated, is that the Doctor Strange movie was much more akin to something. It was much more like a cerebral thriller than it was your straight superhero action flick.
Yeah.
And I really like that. I really like that.
Like the way he defeated the final boss, like he didn't just punch him into oblivion. Like he used mind games to fuck with him enough until he was like, "Fuh!" Like I just thought it was so.
He trolled him. He trolled him. It was great.
Yeah, he won by trolling.
It didn't come down to an exchange of blows or punches. It was a thinking game. And see what I always. And yes, they are individual movies, but the thing that I'm always drawn to and what always, catches my imagination after the fact is always, how does this play into the rest of the MCU? Ant-Man introduced us to the quantum realm, and Doctor Strange introduced us not only into magic and the mystical element of the MCU as a whole, but it also introduced, I think, one of the first steps into the multiverse by showing us, that tear between worlds where he encountered Dormammu.
Final boss.
Yeah, final boss. And the fact that Doctor Strange is now one of the only beings that we know of that was able to harness the power of an Infinity Stone. There have been Sorcerer Supremes in the past who have used it, but as I forget his name.
The monkey guy.
Yeah. He said that it takes lots and lots of time and practice to even be able to think to mess with that thing, and he was basically able to pick it up and just start, like, his powers are massive.
Yeah.
The potential there is insane.
So
you can make infinite beer. Massive powers.
I mean,
yeah.
If you could make infinite beer, would you?
Probably not. But I'm not a big beer drinker either.
Here's what
infinite
Screwballs.
tots.
Here's what I really like, but here's what I really liked about the Doctor Strange movie is that I really connected to Stephen Strange's story arc, where he's got this amazing talent, he's full of himself, he's got a huge ego, and then all of that is sort of stripped away from him, and he's got to find his way back to the greatness that he thinks that he's at, and that whole ego stripping and training that he's doing early on in the film. Usually that's the part of the superhero movie that I could not give a fuck about.
Oh, when they're making the transition into being a hero.
Yes, but with Doctor Strange, I was like, I was invested the whole time. I thought it was very well done, and I just, man, Benedict Cumberbatch in that role, fucking perfect.
It really was. Did you know that was almost
good.
Joaquin Phoenix?
What?
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix was Marvel's first choice.
Bad first choice.
Tell me about it.
Bad first choice.
Oh, gross.
Man, no, I really enjoyed Doctor Strange, and the visual effects in that movie are just I've never seen anything like it.
So good.
Yeah,
his accent, it's fine. He's American, but because everything else he has the British accent, it's weird.
Yeah,
it's weird.
So yeah, I definitely really like that flick. And what came after that?
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Ah, right.
Now,
was not terribly into this one.
I mean, it was fine.
I liked it the first time, but when I went back in theaters to see it again, I'm like, this isn't as good as Guardians 1.
Here's the thing. I've noticed with movies, well, obviously I think everybody knows this with movies, that sequels and trilogies, they're never as great as the first one, right? Like, that's usually how it ends up panning out. I've noticed with Marvel, though, they have a 50-50 chance of either falling into that usual pattern, such as Iron Man 1, 2, and 3 are not as good as the first one was. But I've also noticed that for some of them, that the first one isn't really that great, and then the second one gets better, and the third one gets better, like with Thor or with Captain America, yeah. But I think that Guardians falls in the usual one where, yes, I don't think the second or probably even the third is going to be as great as what the first one does, even in terms of the way that it affects the overall MCU, with the exception of maybe one of the bonus scenes that we'll talk about. I think that this was a very secluded, very insular story that was really only meant to take a look at Peter Quill, as a character in his life and his and basically what's going on with him personally. I think this I don't want to say is setting up something for the third one, but I think this was definitely his story.
I mean, I do agree, and as we move forward into Infinity War, we are going to see Gamora and Nebula start to
reunited again.
Start to take way more center stage. So there was a purpose to Guardians.
It tied them into the story a little more. I really enjoyed the movie. Like, I walked out of there happy, but I do think that the first movie just had a charm that this one was lacking.
Well, because we were all being introduced to these characters for the first time. It was I think this was the first big gamble, quote unquote, that Marvel was taking, and obviously
their first big gamble was Ant-Man for sure.
Ant-Man came after. Wait, you think Ant-Man was a bigger gamble than Guardians was?
Oh, I thought. So are you?
Sorry. I'm saying the first Guardians was Marvel's first big gamble.
I don't know that it was.
You don't think so?
I don't know, because I think that you're right, that just in how much setup that there's been in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, at that point, people were going to go see it because it was part of the bigger.
That's true, but it was the first one
narrative.
That I think the first D-level characters that they were trying to bank on. I mean, Ant-Man was probably
no. You're right.
But,
no, yeah. I think that you probably got a point.
Yeah,
there.
So I think because of that, there was more pizzazz or whatever that came out of that first one. So when you went to see the second one, at this point, it's just really knuckling down and getting to know all the different characters, because there was a lot of, family stuff between everyone. Obviously, the Peter Quill stuff, Drax getting close to Mantis, the Gamora and her sister type thing. Yeah, I think that it was a much more personalized story.
It introduced the Celestials in a very real way.
Yes, which is going to be important, I think, come the Ant-Man movie, because if they're going into the quantum realm, there's a very real chance that they may be meeting with Eternity, who is one of the Celestials. Overall, there's two things that Guardian made me question. The first is, now that the Celestial part of Peter has died, or he's lost that power, would he be able to withstand contact or the power of an Infinity Stone anymore?
Probably not, no.
Okay. And then the other one was, in one of the post-credit scenes, the golden people who build themselves or whatever, manufacture themselves, introduced Adam Warlock.
Right. Yes, we did get an introduction to Adam Warlock right at the very end there.
Now, you have more, I think, knowledge on Infinity Wars from the comics. I've never actually read the comic arc before.
Yes.
But Adam Warlock plays a huge role in that. And do you think that it's not too late to introduce him in some way?
I don't know who this character is. Who is this character?
Adam Warlock does play a fairly centralized role in the Infinity War books. I'm trying to remember. I mean, it's like, I also remember Silver Surfer playing a fairly large role in it.
Yeah, and he's gone. You think he's not gone?
No, I'm not. No, because I mean, I'm just saying that, you know, with Disney getting the rights back
from
to
Sony.
Fantastic Four from Sony, if they wanted to put Silver Surfer somewhere in there, they probably could. I don't think they would. I don't think they would, because I don't think it would make sense. I think they've probably found somebody to supplant that role. But I mean, you do need to. I mean, the last Infinity Stone that is not
unknown so far.
Yeah, that is not
the Soul Stone.
Is the Soul Stone, and that has always been Adam Warlock's gimmick, was that he had the Soul Stone in him. So,
really?
Yes,
I didn't know that.
And so it's actually kind of the key to the Infinity War, because I think he's able to create a pocket universe of some kind. I don't know, man. It's been a long fucking time.
It has been a very long time.
It's been a long time since I've read Infinity War.
Yeah, and right now, one of the big questions, even still to this point right now, is where is the last Infinity Stone, which would be the Soul Gem. A lot of people thought that maybe it would show up in Wakanda.
Yeah, in Wakanda, but it didn't.
Well,
doesn't mean it's not there.
Right. But the fact that these golden people, I forget what they're called, you know, genetically produce each other all the time. I mean,
it's pretty racist, by the way.
Okay, sorry.
Those golden
people. So I could see them having the Soul Stone, and you know, the way that she talks about Adam Warlock. Well, you know, at the end she says his name will be Adam, but the way that she talks about him, she's basically creating him to, I think, hunt down the Guardians, get revenge on them. It would make sense to, you know, put the Soul Stone in him, or use the Soul Stone to imbue.
I mean, if that culture,
powers.
if that culture is basically had possession over the Soul Stone, and they're trying to make an ultimate weapon, of course they're going to use the Soul Stone in the ultimate weapon.
Yep. See,
right?
And I had thought that because of its direct relation to the Guardians, that maybe we wouldn't even necessarily see him until the next Guardians movie, until the next movie that took place more in the cosmic universe. Plus, I feel like if someone had been cast as Adam Warlock, they would have had to by now in order to have filmed something. But I suppose it's also possible that we could even maybe just get another post-credit scene with him. I don't know at this point how much of a role he could potentially play in Infinity War.
It could be a red herring. He could arrive on the scene and Thanos strips him of the Soul Stone and he's gone.
That'd suck.
That would be really.
Suck.
I mean, we're working our way towards, you know, what we think is going to be in Infinity War, because there's got to be a lot that changes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, I mean, you know, in terms of the way that the producers are talking about Infinity War as, you know, like there's going to be, the way that people are going to look at it is that there's going to be superhero movies before Infinity War and after Infinity War. I mean, it's going to be a big deal. Whatever they have planned, it's a big fucking deal, and they're keeping it very much under wraps. So if Adam Warlock plays a bigger role, that wouldn't surprise me. If he's a red herring, that also wouldn't surprise me.
Okay, yeah, I see where you're going with this, especially
fair.
with the way that they use the Mandarin in Iron Man 3, if anybody recalls that. That was super red herring.
Or any of the post-credit sequences in any of the Guardians movies, they don't tend to take them very seriously. Remember the first one? It was Howard the Duck.
Yeah, all right, that's probably fair.
Yeah.
So, forgive me for not...
I get it.
Not just jumping right on that
but
train.
Howard the Duck is slightly more important than Adam Warlock, so that makes sense, though.
Anyway, so that brings us to where are we at?
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Spider-Man
which
Homecoming.
you really dug.
I fucking loved this movie.
It was good.
More than Doctor Strange.
No,
I loved it
no,
because it was
no.
not.
I liked
it was
but
not an origin story.
Yes.
Like literally, his entire origin was, I got bit by a spider. It's cool. Like that was it.
Well, because
we've seen
we
it
all know,
like
and
3
Marvel
times now.
knew that. Marvel
Yeah,
knew
and I'm
that.
glad that they realized that because like Spider-Man, this is like the 3rd reboot of Spider-Man, and like, God, like
they got it right. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I definitely think that they got this one right. I also think
because this one was Marvel and not Fox or whoever owned it before. Sony.
Sony, yeah, it was Sony. Well, no, actually, it's still. I mean, Sony still owns it, but
Sony
it's a partnership.
It's a partnership, yeah.
Yeah, I think that there's some really great stuff going on in there. Again, Tom Holland kills it as Spider-Man.
As both Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Yes.
Period. Like straight up.
Because you get the kind of dweeby kid, and you believe that he's a dweeby kid. That whole penis Parker thing. I'm just like, I believe this. That's the most believable fucking thing.
Maybe we should stop staring before it gets creepy.
Flash,
it's already creepy.
Flash Thompson going, when I say penis, you say Parker. I fucking died. I died. I thought that was great.
But and what I love about when he puts the mask on too, he doesn't stop being Peter Parker. You can still see the Peter Parker in him, but he also takes on that Spider-Man persona where he wants to do good. And throughout the entire movie, all the other movies did this in like a 10-minute montage.
Yeah.
Where it shows him like stumbling around and getting used to his powers, but then boom, he's Spider-Man now.
Yeah.
No, through this whole thing, he was a shambling mess.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
Well, and the thing, I loved the way that they opened the movie with like the
cell phone movie.
The cell phone movies from Peter. Oh my God. Fucking brilliant.
When he's actually at the airport in Civil War, gotta go, guys. And
he's big now. Yeah. Shit. Oh my God. What a great way. What a great way to open that movie. I thought that was phenomenal.
Oh, I can't wait for the second one. It was so good.
I also loved The Vulture.
Which is one of the few times, or probably the strongest example of Marvel doing a villain well when they only have the one movie so far.
Let me
agree.
I think Marvel is getting way better at its villains. And I recently did do a rewatch of the earlier MCU flicks, and some of the motivations for Loki don't really make a whole ton of sense. Like it doesn't necessarily come together in the same cohesive way that the Vulture came together, right? Or like Eric Killmonger came together. Like both of those villains, I think, were relatable, sympathetic, but also
villains.
Yes.
Yeah, as opposed to like Ronan from the first Guardians. He was evil guy who tried to do evil things, and everyone wanted to do
it. It will be Krull justice. Like, okay, we get it. All right, fine.
Yeah, I think that's the best way you probably could have put it, that when they only have one movie to display a villain. I agree with you. Vulture and Killmonger both, like, I mean, we're not at Black Panther yet, but I actually cried for Killmonger. Like, I never really feel for the villains, and I just feel like that they are.
That was only because it was Michael B. Jordan.
No, it's not.
Okay, let me ask you this. Did you cry for Forrest Whitaker's character? Who? Yeah,
no,
that's what I thought.
Who is
But
it?
actually, I felt really bad, though. Because,
she felt
he didn't
bad,
need to
guys.
die.
He didn't, no.
There was no reason for him to die. But I mean, but then again, what I feel like that did is it solidified him as an unredeemable villain. because killing someone like that
That's fair.
for no reason,
Now-
in cold blood, right
Sure.
there,
Yeah.
makes it like, even though the Killmonger is a sympathetic villain, he's you cannot give him a redemption arc.
So why do you think for Vulture and for Killmonger that it worked and it hasn't worked in previous ones?
That is a good question.
I mean, I think
I think giving the villain more backstory. I don't know, because like in Spider-Man, you get the Vulture as a character. Like he's actually somebody that Peter Parker interacts with at a regular level, and you as the viewer see him as another character in the movie. And then when it's kind of slowly revealed that this guy's the villain, it kind of just makes you feel bad.
I think I think a core part of being able to sympathize with the villain, even if you don't necessarily understand what their end goals are, if you see them in a relatable way. So, for example, Vulture, we see him at the beginning as just a dude trying to survive, and with Killmonger, we see him as a child, right? I don't know that we really ever got that with anyone else. Maybe in Iron Man 1 with the Iron Warmonger, but there was always something off about Jebediah's character that felt wrong.
Menacing.
Right? That felt menacing.
It felt menacing.
Even with Mickey Rourke's character in Iron Man 2, he was evil right from the get-go. Like, they always explain what happened to them, but our first impression of them is always evil and not sympathetic. And I think that is a major key in it.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And I think that, Loki is also a really, bad villain in the sense that his motivations change on a dime, seemingly at the will of the convenience of the writer. Right,
that's just him being mischievous.
I mean, it is.
But that's how they That's how they write it off, though. That's how they wave a wand and hand wave it away. He's just being trickster god Loki. But it's like by Ragnarok, I was just fucking done with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why don't we should just get into Ragnarok?
Yeah, no, Ragnarok is next. Yep, which you actually didn't have the biggest.
I fucking hated this movie.
I loved it.
Hated it. Wow. Hated it.
I didn't stop laughing the entire movie, and I walked out of there feeling.
That was my problem. That was my problem. It was wall to wall shtick.
I see that argument.
I bet you're wondering how I got here, the God of Thunder in a cave.
That's great.
Listen, I'm not saying that the jokes were bad. The jokes were fine. But
I was taking the charm of Deadpool and the silliness of Guardians and putting it into Thor.
Yes.
And I like it as a movie. I actually thought the movie was great. However, as an overall MCU movie, I agree that it felt a little jarring. But I think as a movie on its own, I thought it was fantastic.
Okay, I agree with both of those, because one of the biggest complaints I saw from critics when it came out was that, Marvel movies being fun is starting to become a problem, because that's what everyone said. Oh yeah, it was good. It was fun. And that's it. There isn't anything more to it like there was in Black Panther or in The Winter Soldier. It was just a fun movie. And I don't know, I think that overall, even from the beginning, Thor was a little mishandled, because even just being fun was a major upgrade for the Thor franchise.
I agree. I do. I agree with that. I do agree with that Thor needed a little bit of levity put into his series of movies, right?
I think it was too much, though.
Yes.
I think Thor Ragnarok could really be improved if they went to that one planet where Luke Skywalker was, and they introduced the Porgs to the movie.
Chris, you have no worthwhile opinions. Why are you talking?
Seriously. You did actually see this movie. We're not even to the Black Panther yet. Okay? All right. My other problem with Ragnarok is that we spent a total of 15 minutes with fucking Ragnarok and Asgard. That's it. In terms of screen time, most of it was on that stupid Jeff Goldblum planet.
Yeah. Okay.
I could not.
Not a fan of the Grandmaster, by the way.
All I wanted to do.
I thought his character was fun.
All I wanted to do was see the Hulk and Thor square off, because I knew from all the trailers that's what was going to happen. Yeah. And then get the fuck to Asgard.
Yeah.
And the fact that they dawdled around on that fucking planet for 40 minutes longer than they should have really bothered me.
That's probably fair.
I fucking hated
when Ragnarok finally came, it was kind of like a punchline. He's like, Oh shit, that's the answer. Start Ragnarok.
Blow up my world for the good of the everything.
I mean, it was fine, but I think Nate's probably right. They probably could have taken 20, 30 minutes out of War World, or what was essentially War World, and put it into the end.
The chick playing Hela could not have chewed the scenery more if she tried. Oh my God. Overacting much.
Oh, I love Kate Blanchett.
I was going to say,
Hela.
speaking of Hela, though, as a villain, because we were just talking about, Killmonger and Vulture.
Yes.
Like, as a villain, how do we feel as Hela's build up and becoming...
I think that she had just kind of generic Marvel villain syndrome.
Yeah, she was a bad villain.
Where it's like, oh, okay, that's your sister. Oh, well, she's bad because she's bad. And
she's going to go do bad things.
It gave her
spikes.
some backstory, but yeah, I don't feel like we as the viewer had enough time to kind of
Oh, no, there was no
empathize or
sympathy
sympathize.
for her. In fact, the reason that I liked her wasn't because I sympathized for her or thought that she was a great villain in the same way that I did Killmonger or the Vulture. I just thought she was a badass.
I mean, yeah,
She definitely was.
Yeah, she was a badass. But that's sort of what, I mean, Marvel's really good about, like all of their villains are badasses.
But there's not female badasses.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, but we know that Marvel can do female badasses if they actually tried. Like, look at Black Panther. There's 20 million of them in that movie.
Right.
But I feel like there's just not enough female superheroes in Marvel that they're actually taking and putting into this universe. And I feel like that's a problem because we could see more female badasses.
Well, we've got the Wasp coming up in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
And I'm waiting for that one so much.
Actually,
I'm really excited.
I am kind of excited about that because the gal who plays the Wasp, I can't remember
Evangeline Lilly?
Evangeline Lilly, yeah. I really like her as an actress.
What did you guys think of, because the Hulk, obviously we know he's not ever going to get his own movie, but with the end of Ultron, this movie, and then Infinity War, those are going to have three distinct parts of what is essentially going to be the Hulk's arc. Because now that you mention how basically the whole movie was just all this levity and this laughter and blah 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 and funny stuff, my favorite part of the entire movie was when they were in the Quinjet and the little hollow thing of Black Widow popped up, like that whole Thor moment in there. Hulk moment in there. And then when Thor starts like reciting the words and stuff.
Sun's going down, big guy.
My
that was pretty funny. That was funny
so
though.
Good.
No, they've always done a good job with Hulk building
except
him
for
as
his own movie
as a character that we like. No, I mean it sucks that he doesn't get his own movie because I feel like the current actor for completely
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo, yeah.
Mark Ruffalo, thank you. Like I feel like he is such a quirky and like perfect actor for that role that we all kind of feel for him now, and it really sucks that we're not going to get a movie of just Mark Ruffalo.
Can you imagine if Edward Norton was still playing Banner?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I love
honestly,
Norton, but
genuinely,
no,
can you imagine that? Like I can't see it. I can't see him doing the shtick because that's at least Ruffalo can pull the shtick off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nope. Definitely don't think so. Other than that, I think the big takeaways from Thor was the end. Obviously, Loki has a Tesseract now. Asgard is gone. The big thing that I'm wondering about now is we saw in was it a post-credit scene in Spider-Man or whatever. Basically, the Guardians find Thor in a pile of wreckage, right? So that means that ship we saw coming down on the ship that basically had all the Asgardian race in it was attacked by Thanos or perhaps his Black Order.
Oh, I kind of forgot about that scene.
Does this mean that Asgardians are extinct now?
Hang on. Go back. What?
Okay, so
yeah,
end of Ragnarok, all the Asgardians get onto the ship, right? Hey, we got a spaceship. You guys want to come?
And they're going to go find the new...
They flew off. Okay.
Home.
The post-credit scene for Thor Ragnarok showed this giant ship basically like
looming over
them now, right? That is either Thanos, that's connected to Thanos in some way, either on their way to Earth or on their way... Actually, they could have even been coming to Asgard to get the Tesseract.
The space gem, which would help them move through space.
Yes, we know that Infinity War has the Guardians of the Galaxy finding Thor floating in space amongst a bunch of rubble.
We do?
Yeah, it was in the trailer.
The trailer.
Yeah, remember they grab him, they pull him back up in there. And
I haven't seen any of the Infinity trailer.
None of it?
Infinity War trailers.
You should have saw it with the trailer.
I think I saw the very first
at,
one, and I haven't seen one since.
Yeah, it's like
out
months
at,
old now.
yeah, I would have thought that you saw it when you were out at Comic-Con. But
I
yeah,
was
Comic-Con
so
was-
drunk.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
The Comic-Con one was different, though. Remember that.
Yeah, no, the Comic-Con one was I don't think that's even out yet, is it?
No.
Yeah,
I don't know if
they kept that like
That's
released
super
it.
under wraps.
because they like confiscated people's phones and stuff.
People still wrote about it. I remember reading where as the Guardians are making their way through this debris field, a body hits the windshield and Rocket's like, get it off, get it off, get it off. They pull it in and it's Thor.
Okay.
That means that ship, which had Thor, the Valkyrie, Hulk,
Asgards.
Loki, and all the Asgards, was destroyed.
It's possible.
Now, obviously, Hulk survives. Obviously, Loki survives. It's possible, because that was the space gem, that Loki got everyone out
Valkyrie better
somehow.
survive because she was definitely a badass female.
But there's
her.
a lot of questions on exactly what the fate of the Asgardians is.
That's fair. I mean,
I always thought that Earthlings were going to be the first to bite it, but if the gods of Asgard die first, that's a win for
We're all
humanity.
screwed.
that's a fair question, man. I'm not sure. I mean, we do know. I think obviously Loki getting possession of the Tesseract. Loki does play. Or is it Loki?
Loki was working for Thanos
Originally, back in Avengers.
That's right.
1.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep, he gave him the Mind Staff, which had the Mind Stone in it, to basically start the invasion on Earth. So he was entrusted with an Infinity Stone and told not to fail, and was obviously supposed to bring back the Time Stone as well, and obviously failed in both regards.
But if he comes back with the Tesseract,
Is it going to be enough?
Well, that's what his original purpose was.
But now he also doesn't have the Mind Stone, so he exchanged one for one and lost a bunch of time.
Okay, but the Space Stone is probably worth more than the Mind Stone because you can go through space.
I still think
that's
if I
how
was-
you win wars is through logistics.
If I was Thanos, I'd still be like, oh, thank you. Now you're dead.
Yeah, well, fair, but
Yeah. We don't have a whole lot of time here left, so let's get into Black Panther.
let's get into Black Panther. This is probably number 2 on my list of favorite Marvel movies.
It's in my top 5.
I fucking
It was very
loved this movie.
Now, I've been seeing a lot of people who liked it, but they don't seem to have gotten the hype. And it's just an observation that I myself have made, but they seem to be all white people.
I also noticed that.
Are they getting caught up on one really specific aspect of the film?
I don't know. I haven't got to really talk to them about it right now. Now, first of all, I do think that one of the biggest things that this movie did right is definitely culturally related and doesn't necessarily relate to us. However, beat for beat on paper, this movie doesn't necessarily do a lot of stuff new, but it does it the best.
I agree. I want to say that in terms of the flow of the plot, I predicted literally everything that was going to happen. It wasn't one of those coming out of left field. That wasn't the point of this movie. So I feel when you look at it, you can say culturally it was very representative of Africa, but it also did a good job, I think, of representing how poorly treated Black people are around the world. And
Sure.
I think that is the kind of movie that America as a whole really needed to see. So regardless of the fact that plot wise it wasn't new,
This
I
probably
think
did
it was
more.
still exactly what we needed. And because it was done so well, and any of the cliches or tropes that were in it were executed so perfectly, as well as all of the representation of culture, I think that is what pushes it to the top.
Well, and I think it did more for us culturally than it did for the MCU. And I think that's maybe
Yes.
what a lot of people are getting hung up on, is they're like, I don't really see how this is going to affect a bunch of stuff. But honestly,
It
Wakanda?
will now, though, because
Yeah, it is.
because it will not, because the whole point of it was that apparently in the comics Wakanda was a lot more reserved for a long time, and they did kind of keep to themselves. And right away in this movie they're like, no, that's not right, we need to help other people. And I think that in itself is going to be what affects the MCU. Right away at the end they're like, oh well, how's a third world farm country going to help us? But but that's not what's going on here. So
That
all of a sudden
post-credit
we have
scene-
this first world country coming out of nowhere, and that is going to be a game changer going forward.
Dude,
So
that post-credit scene when T'Challa's all like, oh, we're going to share our stuff with you, and the one senator or whatever he was is like, okay.
I literally just said that.
So?
That's exactly what I just
I know. That was just a funny scene.
Anyway. So, you know, yeah, I do think that, you know, in terms of the action points, they were well executed. I think that the themes were a lot more well fleshed out in terms of, you know, the way that you build in and execute thematic arcs in movies. You know, so I saw a lot of themes of like family and, you know, fatherhood and, you know, just a lot of really family was also really big. Heritage was also a really big theme in all of this. Tradition, another huge theme here. And I liked it for all of those reasons. I thought it was really fascinating that, you know, you have a culture that is almost completely bifurcated in the fact that it's got the most technological, you know, advancements on the planet, but it's also very connected to its roots and its heritage and the foundation of its people. And that's something that you don't see, you know, represented in film very often.
The way that they built the world, this is probably the best world building that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has done to date as well.
And we also got to talk about Eric Killmonger, man, because what a great villain. What a great, well-executed character that had a very clear plot arc and a vision that made you go, oh, shit, like, he's not entirely wrong.
Exactly. I think that's what made him a great villain is from the start when he comes in saying, you know, this is what I want to see happen. I'm like, well, yeah, I want to see that happen too, just not in the ways he goes about it, but he's not wrong in his motive.
He
and
also
I think that's what
abided.
made him such a relatable villain.
He also abided by the rules too. He didn't do anything that would be in Wakanda considered
That's
illegal
true.
or anything like that. Like what did he actually do?
Yeah, burning the
that
flowers, that was a little
Okay, yes.
Because now the traditions can't go forward.
Yes, but other than that, like up to the point, well, as king, why couldn't he do that? Up until becoming king, though, what did he really do that was like shitty?
Nothing. I mean, nothing. Because he followed by the rules, even entering Wakanda. You know, he didn't barge in.
Yeah.
So, I really enjoyed that. He was, and Michael B. Jordan, by the way, fucking killed that role.
Second Human Torch vindicated.
Yeah, 2 Human Torches.
Yeah, I started seeing that meme flying around.
That's so funny. One of my friends, Vertus, actually brought up a really good point in the, you know, the sort of stark thematic differences between a character like Eric Killmonger and T'Challa, and the way that he put it, and I thought that this was really great, was he's like, well, that sort of embodies the different approaches that Malcolm and Martin took in the civil rights movement. And I thought that was a really interesting observation. So, you know, there's a whole lot that's going on underneath the surface of that movie that I just fucking loved. It made a lot of political statements that in 2018 probably shouldn't be political or as political as they are.
That's pretty fair.
Yeah.
And I, you know, it may not have done much to move the MCU forward, and I get that.
I actually disagree.
But I think that there's been a lot that's been set up to follow in the wake of Infinity War.
Yeah, I think just with both of the end credit scenes, it shows how Wakanda and Black Panther are going to be game changers in the MCU. Like, the actual movie didn't move it along, but it has set up to then become a major player.
Can we talk about Shuri? Because she is like my favorite character in the entire
can we?
Marvel Cinematic Universe now.
This movie was not just about, you know, Black culture, but the women.
Yeah.
The women in this movie were absolutely fucking fantastic.
I didn't feel like any characters were wasted either. The only character that I felt like could have maybe used a little bit of work or was a little bit weak was the Rhino guy. I forget what his name was, but he was the only one that for some reason he didn't jive with me. But every other person I thought was their presence, the way that they were written, the way that they were acted was all spot on. And as I said earlier too, I enjoy watching T'Challa as much, probably more than I enjoy seeing Black Panther himself.
Fair enough. So as we move into Infinity War, we do know that a big central part and theme of Infinity War, even going back as far as the books, is how many superheroes get lost in the war. There's a lot of people that die. I mean,
I don't know much about it.
If
at the beginning, in order to impress death,
yes,
Thanos uses the Soul Stone to wipe out a third of life in the universe.
Yes. Yes, just blanketly
before it even starts.
So that's actually one of the issues in the Infinity War. It's got the cover, and it's got all of the missing the shield IDs of all of the missing superheroes.
That's a cool way to do it.
It was dude, that was a great book. Who do we think is going to make it to Phase 4 at this point?
Any of the new people. Strange, T'Challa, Spider-Man, because he has another movie.
I think Spider-Man's dead.
In Infinity War?
Yeah. I think
no, because Spider-Man's going to have another movie. I think.
Well, hold on.
But you can throw Miles Morales into that. I mean, there's a lot of ways to get around that. There's a lot of ways to get around.
Okay, that's fair.
Because we know that Spider-Man picks up literally 5 minutes after this event, what is going to be Avengers 4. So he at least has to survive into Avengers 4, and that'd be a really risky move on their part. And look, I'm all for the death of Spider-Man. That's my favorite Marvel moment out of all the comics histories. But I think if you're going to do that, you do that in the second Spider-Man movie as opposed to in the Infinity War movies.
Zeldoria saying that they'll all die and then be brought back with the stones. That's possible.
That is a big possibility.
That's possible.
That's my theory.
Then that just makes us like DBZ, where death is not important.
Hang on.
Because everyone could come back with the Dragon Ball.
I get that. More than that, though, contracts are up. There are contracts that are expired.
Thor.
Thor is done. Iron Man is done.
Robert Downey Jr. I think has actually been done for a while, and they've been doing his on a contract or a movie by movie basis. I think that Sebastian Stan has 1 or 2. I believe Chris Evans is done.
Who's Sebastian Stan?
The Winter Soldier.
Bucky.
Oh,
Bucky.
Really? He's done?
Technically, I think, like I said, I think he has 1 or 2. But again, they could always re-up it because this is the thing.
Yeah.
We know nothing about the next phase. From Avengers 4 onward, they won't even tell us the titles
because it'll give away too much.
Because
it'll give away who lives and who dies.
Right. See, I think Stark has to die. Because I think RDJ is just
he's done.
He's been doing it for so long now.
Shuri can come in and be the new genius tech person.
Well, she can be Ironheart. Oh, yes. She can either take up the name Riri Williams or she
can just kind of become that.
Yeah, she can just be Ironheart.
Easily.
Yeah, I mean, you throw.
Actually, I would love that. Actually,
you give her access to Stark tech. I mean,
she doesn't even need Stark tech. She has Wakanda
but
tech.
Combine the Stark tech with the tech that she has, and she could do so much more. I think that's
I feel like that's saying, all right, let's go ahead and put this Windows 95 into Windows 10.
Anyway, so there's that. I think Cap has to die. I mean,
you think both Cap and Iron Man are gone?
Yeah, I do.
Do you think Thor's gone?
He better not be.
Because we're losing a lot of Chris's here.
It's true. No,
they still got Chris Pratt.
I think.
I don't think the Guardians are going to.
No, I don't.
Some of them might.
Some of them might.
There's a lot of Guardians.
I think we'll be
switch
fine.
out.
No, I think Drax is done.
Yeah, Drax
he's
doesn't
so
really
dumb.
have much going on.
Yeah.
He's so dumb. He's gonna die.
Especially because if they defeat Thanos, he avenges his family. Drax can die.
We know that Groot will just re-sprout if he dies.
Depending on how he dies. What if he's incinerated?
I see, because I think if they give Bucky the shield and make him the new Cap, that's a really interesting way to do.
That's true too.
To do Cap going. That way. I mean,
think of that.
These are huge contracts that you got to keep these people under. You know what I mean?
Now, here's the question: does someone have to die in order for them to be done? Could anyone decide to just step away?
Then what you're talking about is Marvel recasting the role.
No,
not
as the actor.
Like storyline.
The character. Yeah, there have been storylines that there was
the character says they're done.
There was a massive
gap.
Like
Hawkeye.
There was a massive gap in the Ultimate Timeline where, because of the direction the government was going, that Captain America was like, I'm fucking done. And for like a year and a half, he was just fucking gone until someone found him in the desert and dragged him back to do something about it.
I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. I mean, I think that you may see some retirements. You may, but I think that, first of all, killing Spider-Man, that makes Tony, that motivates Tony Stark, because he brought Spider-Man in.
Yes.
Right?
And Spider-Man's a kid. I feel like it would really suck for Spider-Man to just be gone already.
I would hate Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man to be gone, because it's so good.
You should really read the Ultimate Timeline. Oh, you will cry your eyes out.
But
no, I don't.
But that's the thing, though, is that I think like a lot of these deaths need to happen to be able to move into phase 4.
You don't think that if that with the amount of deaths that we think need to happen, or people who are set up for it, that would be an oversaturation?
So much death?
I mean, we have two. Here's the thing: we have 2 movies we can split them between, right? And Nika, you kind of poo-pooed a little bit the idea of the Soul Stone bringing everyone back. I think Chris's theory, and what I think is actually an interesting way to do it, is if he does use the Soul Stone to wipe out a bunch of people, or a bunch of people die off, at the end of the first one, someone, maybe Warlock, maybe somebody else, uses the Soul Stone to bring them back. Because the other thing we know is that Avengers 3 and 4, so Infinity War and 4, are 2 separate movies. We're not going to get a to be continued. There will be a definite end to the first movie, and then a start to the next one.
Do we know that?
Yes.
I always thought they were supposed to be kind of connected.
I mean, they're connected, but not in the same
they're
way.
They're 2 different stories.
Yes.
It's not Infinity War Part 1 and 2.
I wasn't sure about that.
Right, that's right.
Okay.
So, honestly, the way that I could see it potentially working out, for example, is, Thanos comes and he defeats everyone. Like the end of Infinity War, yeah, a bunch of people are gone. And then the next movie, whatever it is, maybe that's when Adam Warlock shows up, because I think we get a Guardians movie in between there.
Honestly, I think that the 4th Avengers flick is going to be called The New Avengers. And it's going to be a completely different superhero team. That's what I think. There was
going to be the formation of whoever's left becomes the New Avengers.
Exactly, yeah. Because that's what, there were, the West Coast Avengers, and there were a whole bunch of different.
Oh, I can already see that title card. That's so Marvel and Disney.
The New Avengers.
Or it would just be Avengers, and then the new appears at the top.
Yeah.
Oh, it just slowly fades
just like
in, yeah.
The new Ghostbusters. Oh, no, that's the original ones. Never mind. The real Ghostbusters.
I think that that's probably a pretty decent working theory right there. That
honestly, yeah, that's the.
All right, guys, we've called it. So when all of this is true, you heard it here first.
That's right.
That's now that's in my top 2 for theories, because the main theory that I've been standing behind is this could easily transition into a Secret Wars type stuff, especially again with them getting the
maybe down the line. I think that's
them getting the Fox properties and being able to merge those in. Yeah. But I think I'm still putting my money on Thor, because there is going to be a funeral scene in the Avengers, specifically because they actually cast for a funeral scene at one point.
Oh.
So
someone died.
Some big name is going to die.
Yeah.
I'm banking on the funeral. If they're having a funeral for anyone, it's Tony Stark.
Yeah. Because would you even have a funeral? Because the Vision has to die. So he's got one of the stones in him.
That would say that it's tied to his life. I feel like with the way that he's talked about it, he's separate from it. It allowed him to be, but it's not him. I think that might actually be a specific line he said. It gave me life, but it is not part of me.
Well, I was just going to ask, do you have funerals for sentient AI?
I don't think that he's been around enough. I think that with Thor, even though he's not from Earth, he's in everyone, like the public eye enough that they would want to have.
That's true, but I still feel like if they're going to have one funeral scene in an Avengers movie, it would be Tony Stark.
I agree.
Or if you had to pick someone, it would be
Cap.
him.
It would either be Stark or Cap.
It's probably Cap.
I think Cap's even a better choice than Tony
maybe
is.
Cap too.
I feel like, but they've set and I just did this run of all of the movies. I feel like they're setting up for both of them. Like they had the opportunity to kill Cap in Civil War, and they didn't. And I think that they were saving it for Infinity War.
Why can't it be May yet?
It'll be here soon now.
Yeah.
Oh, the month. I thought you were talking about like Aunt May dying. I'm like, why would you want Aunt May to die?
Especially because Aunt May's hot.
She's super hot.
Hot now.
By the way, when she walks in that post-credit scene and sees him, what the?
That was good. That was good.
All right, we're going to have to leave the discussion right there. Excited for when Infinity War ends up coming out. But there's a good chance that we'll revisit the topic after post-Infinity War, and see where everyone's at.
Do we know if Captain Marvel is in Infinity War?
It's a good question.
I don't know.
No,
she's been seen on set, so we don't know if she's just going to be a post-credit scene or how she plays into it.
I mean, it could be like the Black Panther of the last movie where she's just introduced, she does a little thing, and then it sets up for her movie.
No, because here's the interesting thing. Captain Marvel takes place in the 90s. So Captain Marvel's already a superhero, and she's actually been around longer than Iron Man has.
Interesting.
Where's she been?
Huh.
On Earth? In the cosmos?
Interesting. All right, guys, we're going to have to leave it right there. Thanks for tuning in for Final Encountercast. It's been fun, as always. And unfortunately, we've only got one more of these to go before it all concludes. Next week will be episode 100 of Final Encountercast, and then we become the Let's Be Real podcast. I hope everyone's ready, because I know we sure are. I want to thank everyone listening. If you want to tune in, make sure you come by the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio, starting at 1 p.m. For my crew, Nika, Chris, Robbie, I'm Nate. Have a good one. Final Encountercast is a production of FinalEncountercast.com, Limit Break Radio, and Bender Media Productions. Today's episode was produced by Nate Bender, Callie Sloan, and Kooky Persona. This show is made possible by the generous Patreon donors of the podcast Limit Break Radio. Opening music provided by Keyboard Kid. More info and music can be found at keyboardkid206.bandcamp.com. Closing music provided by Sobsy. For more info, visit sobsy.bandcamp.com. Final Encountercast and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.